under our Constitution, we are prohibited from establishing religion, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what the
So
establishment says.
if you have members of Congress that are legislating laws in accordance with their faith in regards to abortion or LGBTQ or women or any of those things, that should be prohibited within our Constitution.
You are not allowed to impose, through the government, your religious beliefs on others. That is not what religious freedom is about. That's not what our country rests on.
Yeah. For many of us, religious freedom is extremely important. It is life and death in this country.
Yes.
Many of us fled our countries to come to the United States because that is the one thing that distinguishes us from many countries. But it's also important that we have a secular government.
Did you all just hear that was Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, a sitting member of the United States Congress, asking if other members of Congress should be prohibited, her word prohibited, from legislating based on their faith? This is it, folks. This is the quiet part out loud. This is what we as conservatives, as Republicans, as supporters of President Trump have been warning about for years. The radical left, the squad, they do not just disagree with our values, they do not just dislike the pro-life movement or traditional marriage, they want to make it illegal to even be in government. If you hold those values, they want to ban Christianity and Judeo-Christian ethics from public life, period. We are about to watch this full clip and another one where she is grilling the president of Columbia University. I want you to pay close attention to the hypocrisy, the projection, and the flat-out assault on American values. This is what the modern left has become. If you are tired of this, if you are ready to fight back for the soul of this country, do me a favor right now, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and drop a comment below right now with Save America. Let us get into this.
Ms. Omar, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. President Shafiq, I wanted to get a clarification earlier. One of my colleagues asked you, have you seen anti-Muslim protests on campus?
I have seen, we have had pro-Israeli demonstrations on campus.
No.
But
just
not
a protest that was
not,
against Muslims.
No, I have
you
not
seen one against Arabs?
No, I have not.
Have you seen one against Palestinians?
No, I have not.
Have you seen one against Jewish people? Have you seen a protest saying we are against Jewish people?
No, I have seen.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. There has been a rise in targeting and harassment against anti-war protesters because it's been pro-war and anti-war protesters is what it seems like, correct?
Correct. There has been.
Thank you. Activists on campus, including Jewish students, Black and Brown, Arab and Muslim students. How many of the organizations that were canceled in Columbia involved Jewish students?
One of the organizations is called Jewish Voices for Peace.
Yes, and it encompassed of Jewish students?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. There was there's been a recent attack on the democratic rights of students across the country. I was appalled to learn that in April, Columbia suspended and evicted 6 students for their involvement in the pro-Palestinian panel event on campus. It happened that all 6 students were arbitrarily targeted after the university brought in a team of private and former police investigators. These investigators harassed, intimidated Palestinian students at their homes, demanding to see students' private text messages, and sent threatening emails to the leaders of those pro-Palestinian groups. I would like to ask you to speak a little bit more to this situation and ask you if you guys have utilized private former police investigators before, or is this the first time?
So this was a very serious case. We had students who on an online
If you could shorten
poll,
your answer, that would be really appreciated.
of course, who invited people who were inciting violence, and that is unacceptable. And so we needed to get to the bottom of it. And so that's why we brought private investigators along with notifying
How
the
secure
FBI.
were you these students that you evicted and suspended were involved? Did you do any investigation? Was there a hearing?
They refused to cooperate with the investigation, and so until they do so, they are suspended.
Okay, thank you. And then in January, there was an incident involving students that were protesting that were attacked with a toxic chemical substance, leaving many hospitalized. A lot of them did not receive support from the school administrators. Can you speak to what is happening with the investigation, if you all are cooperating, and why weren't the students provided any support after they've experienced that attack?
So this is still with the police, and as far as we know, we think it was an odorous substance, and we did reach out to all of those students who said they were affected. Many of them didn't want support. We also
It took you guys more than 4 days to reach out to students.
No, I don't believe that's correct.
Okay, will you
actually.
respond, give me a written response with the fact that you all responded right away to those students?
Yes, I would be happy to do that.
All right, appreciate that. And it looks like there's been a lot of doxing and harassment that has taken place. What protections are a student being provided?
We created a doxing resources group to support students. There were many students who were affected by this. Muslim students, Jewish students, and completely, other students. That group we had 90 students reach out to that group to get support in terms of both technical support, legal support, privacy scrubbing, and so on.
And before I run out of time, I wanted to ask what do your rules say about professors that harass students online, like Professor Shai Davidar has done, and professors who directly attack you as the president as a coward and a liar?
So, as president, I'm used to being attacked, but attacking our students is unacceptable. And in that case, we've had more than 50 complaints about that professor, and he is currently under investigation for harassment.
Let's break this down because it is infuriating. First, let's look at that religious freedom hearing. She starts with a simple, obvious question. Under our constitution, we are prohibited from establishing religion, yes, and the witness, Miss Laser, says absolutely okay, fine. The establishment clause, we all agree the government is not supposed to create a Church of America, got it, but watch the trap, watch how fast she twists it in the very next question. She says, so if you have members of Congress legislating laws in accordance with their faith in regards to abortion, LGBTQ women, that should be prohibited. Do you see what she just did? She just equated a Republican congressman voting pro-life because he believes life is a sacred gift from God with illegally establishing a state religion. That is a dishonest leap in logic. When Ilhan Omar says legislating based on faith, she is not talking about her faith, she is talking about your faith. She is talking about Christians. She is directly targeting every conservative whose moral compass is guided by faith. She wants to disqualify you from government, and the hypocrisy is breathtaking. She gives a speech about how religious freedom is life and death and how many people fled their countries to come to the United States for it, and then in the next breath she says we must have a secular government. There it is to the radical left. Secular government does not mean neutral on religion, it means hostile to Christianity, it means removing faith from public life. She is using religious freedom to attack religious freedom. This is why leaders like President Trump matter, leaders who are not afraid to say Merry Christmas, leaders who stand for Judeo-Christian values in public. Now let's move to the Columbia hearing. This is even worse. You have Dr. Shafi, the president of Columbia, in an impossible position. Her campus has been taken over by a radical mob. Jewish students are being threatened, harassed, and afraid to walk on campus. That is the reason for the hearing. So what does Ilhan Omar do? Does she condemn anti-Semitism? No. Does she ask how to protect Jewish students? No. She flips the script. Her first questions are about anti-Muslim protests and anti-Arab protests, a complete diversion. Dr. Shafi has to say no because they are not happening. It is a straw man argument. Then she calls them anti-war protesters. Anti-war, these are people chanting from the river to the sea. These are people calling for violence. And these are the people she defends. Then she gets outraged that students were suspended. Dr. Shafi explains clearly they broke rules, they invited people inciting violence, they created a dangerous environment, and Omar is only concerned that they faced consequences. Everything is upside down. Then comes the so-called chemical attack. Omar presents it like something extreme. Dr. Shafi explains it was an odorous substance under investigation, in simple terms a stink bomb, yet Omar focuses on that while ignoring ongoing threats against Jewish students. This is the playbook: defend the mob, attack institutions, flip victims and aggressors, silence opposition, and as seen earlier, lay the groundwork to push political opponents out of public life. This is why every election matters. This is a fight for the soul of the country, a battle between those who believe in its values and those who want to tear it down. I know where I stand. I stand with Dr. Shafi trying to restore order, and I stand with President Trump and the Republican Party. Now tell me what you think. Was this too harsh or not harsh enough? Drop your thoughts below. Thanks for watching.